From the dusty scrolls of ancient prophets to the headlines of today's news, the Bible's words echo with uncanny accuracy. Prophecies about nations rising and falling, about the coming of the Messiah, have unfolded with startling precision across millennia. These prophecies, written in times long past, have transcended the ages, resonating with each generation. Yet some prophecies remain shrouded in mystery, their fulfillment still on the horizon of history. One such prophecy centers around a land steeped in ancient history, a land that today holds the world's attention with a mixture of fascination and fear: Iran, the modern-day inheritor of the Persian Empire. This land, with its rich tapestry of culture and history, has always been a focal point in the grand narrative of human civilization. For centuries, Bible scholars have grappled with the enigmatic words of Ezekiel 38 and 39, a passage that speaks of a future invasion of Israel, led by a confederation of nations. At the heart of this alliance lies Persia, a nation whose modern-day resurgence and aggressive posture cast a long shadow over the Middle East. The geopolitical landscape of the region is fraught with tension, and Iran's role in it is pivotal. Could this ancient prophecy hold the key to understanding the escalating tensions in the region and the world's uncertain future? The scriptures offer us a glimpse into the future, not to satisfy our curiosity, but to prepare our hearts. The prophecies about Persia are not mere historical curiosities. They are a divine wake-up call, urging us to discern the times, to understand the spiritual battle lines being drawn, and to stand firm in our faith. In a world teetering on the brink of chaos, where uncertainty reigns and shadows of conflict loom large, the need to understand these ancient warnings has never been greater. The fate of nations hangs in the balance, and the time to seek wisdom, to embrace faith, and to prepare our hearts is now. As we navigate through these turbulent times, the ancient prophecies serve as a beacon, guiding us towards a deeper understanding of our place in the grand tapestry of history. They remind us that while the future may be uncertain, the lessons of the past are clear. We must heed these warnings, not out of fear, but out of a desire to forge a path of hope and resilience. The call to action is not just for scholars or theologians, but for every individual seeking to make sense of the world around them. The time to seek wisdom, to embrace faith, and to prepare our hearts is now. The book of Ezekiel stands as a testament to God's power, a divine narrative that transcends time and space. It showcases his unwavering commitment to his people, a commitment that remains steadfast through the ages. Written during the Babylonian exile, a time of profound despair for the Israelites, Ezekiel's words offered a beacon of hope, a promise of restoration and future glory. The Israelites, torn from their homeland and thrust into a foreign land, found solace in Ezekiel's prophecies. Yet, woven into this tapestry of hope were stark warnings, prophecies of future conflicts, and a final, climactic battle that would shake the very foundations of the world. These prophecies were not just about physical battles but also spiritual warfare, a cosmic struggle between good and evil. Ezekiel 38 and 39 stand out as particularly chilling passages, painting a vivid picture of a future invasion of Israel, a land then and now coveted by its neighbors. These chapters describe a scenario that has intrigued scholars and theologians for centuries. This invasion, orchestrated by a coalition of nations, is not merely a territorial dispute. It is depicted as a grand conspiracy, a coordinated effort by multiple nations to challenge the divine plan. It is portrayed as a direct assault on God's chosen people, a final attempt by the forces of darkness to thwart God's plan. This battle is not just about land or power, it is about the ultimate struggle between light and darkness. At the helm of this unholy alliance stands Gog, a mysterious figure who embodies the spirit of rebellion against God. Gog's identity has been the subject of much debate, with interpretations ranging from a literal leader to a symbolic representation of evil. Gog is not a single individual but rather a symbolic representation of the forces of evil arrayed against God's people. This figure represents the culmination of all that opposes divine will. He is the driving force, the mastermind behind this grand scheme to obliterate Israel. His strategies and plans are meticulously crafted to bring about the downfall of God's chosen nation. Flanking Gog in this nefarious alliance are several nations, each with its own historical animosity toward Israel. These nations, driven by ancient grudges and modern ambitions, unite under Gog's banner. But it is the presence of Persia that is particularly striking. Persia's involvement adds a layer of complexity and historical depth to the prophecy. Ezekiel names Persia not merely as a participant in this invasion force, but as a key player, a nation whose role in the end times is of paramount importance. Persia's strategic position and historical significance make it a formidable force in this prophetic narrative. What makes Persia's inclusion in this prophecy so intriguing? It is the fact that Persia, or modern-day Iran, has been a major player on the world stage for millennia. Its influence has shaped the course of history in profound ways. It is the fact that Persia, or modern-day Iran, has been a major player on the world stage for millennia. Its history is intertwined with that of Israel, from the days of Cyrus the Great, who allowed the exiled Jews to return to Jerusalem to the present day, where Iran stands as one of Israel's most vocal and dangerous enemies. Its history is intertwined with that of Israel, from the days of Cyrus the Great, who allowed the exiled Jews to return to Jerusalem to the present day, where Iran stands as one of Israel's most vocal and dangerous enemies. This historical continuity underscores the enduring nature of the conflict and the prophetic significance of Ezekiel's vision. As we examine the geopolitical landscape of the 21st century, it is impossible to ignore the startling parallels between Ezekiel's ancient prophecy and the unfolding events of our time. The words of the ancient seer seem to echo through the corridors of history, resonating with the current geopolitical dynamics that shape our world today. The Middle East, a region perpetually simmering with tension, has become the epicenter of a global power struggle, a tinderbox where ancient rivalries and modern ambitions collide. This region, rich in history and resources, has always been a focal point of international interest and conflict. The interplay of various political, religious, and cultural forces makes it a complex and volatile area. At the heart of this maelstrom stands Iran, the spiritual heir to the Persian Empire. Iran's historical legacy and its strategic location have always made it a significant player in regional and global politics. Today, Iran's influence extends far beyond its borders, impacting the geopolitical landscape in profound ways. Iran's resurgence on the world stage is not merely a political phenomenon, it is a revival fueled by a potent mix of ideology, ambition, and a deep-seated hostility towards Israel. This resurgence is driven by a vision of restoring Iran's past glory and asserting its dominance in the region. The ideological fervor that underpins Iran's policies is evident in its domestic and foreign actions. The Ayatollahs, Iran's religious leaders, view Israel's existence as an affront to Islam and have repeatedly called for its destruction. This animosity is not just political but deeply rooted in religious and ideological beliefs. The rhetoric from Tehran often includes calls for the elimination of the Israeli state, which further escalates tensions in the region. But Iran's ambitions extend far beyond its immediate neighborhood. The country seeks to project its power and influence across the Middle East and beyond, challenging the existing world order. Iran's strategic moves are aimed at reshaping the regional balance of power in its favor. Tehran's pursuit of nuclear weapons, its support for terrorist organizations like Hezbollah and Hamas, and its meddling in conflicts across the Middle East all point to a larger agenda: to establish itself as the dominant power in the region and to challenge the existing world order. These actions are part of a broader strategy to expand Iran's influence and counter the presence of Western powers in the region. Adding to the complexity of this situation is the growing alliance between Iran and Russia. This partnership is not just a marriage of convenience but a strategic alignment based on shared interests and mutual benefits. Both nations see an opportunity to counterbalance Western influence and assert their own power on the global stage. Bound by a shared distrust of the West and a desire to reshape the global balance of power, Moscow and Tehran have forged a strategic partnership that has profound implications for the Middle East and beyond. This alliance is a significant factor in the geopolitical chessboard, influencing events and decisions far beyond their immediate borders. Russia's military intervention in Syria, its burgeoning economic ties with Iran, and its willingness to provide Tehran with advanced weaponry, all serve to embolden Iran and increase the likelihood of conflict in the region. These developments are not isolated incidents but part of a coordinated strategy to enhance their influence and capabilities. Ezekiel's prophecy speaks of a confederation of nations, united in their hatred of Israel and their desire to see it wiped off the map. This ancient vision seems to find echoes in the current alliances and enmities that shape the Middle East today. The prophetic words serve as a stark reminder of the enduring nature of these conflicts. While the exact composition of this alliance remains a matter of debate, the current alignment of Iran, Russia, and other regional actors like Turkey raises serious concerns and suggests that the stage is being set for a major confrontation. The convergence of these powers, each with its own agenda and ambitions, creates a volatile mix that could have far-reaching consequences for the region and the world.